Hello everybody! Welcome back to Final Fantasy XIV Full Story Playthrough. My name is Foxy Games, and in the last episode, we started the Warring Triad quest, and we also, we witnessed the remnants of the Ishgardian Church's more, radical elements attempt to, well, seize control and kill Sir Emmerich, and some dude threw a kid off of the roof, which was terrible. But then Vidofnir came in and saved everything. But we're not gonna go back into that part of the story today. We still have 2 parts of the Warring Triad left to kill. And look, somebody has to keep Minfilia's chair warm, okay? Nobody else is doing it. So before we speak with Unukalai, let's see if there's anything more in here. There's not. Is there? No. Can I not just... Okay. Good. So, Warrior of Light, how did it feel to strike down so great a foe? You must tell me more of the experience once our meeting with your colleagues is concluded. Sure, why not? Through thine all-surpassing skill at arms, do we now take our first step in ridding this star of the Warring Triad's baleful presence. And in such wise do we lessen the burden bequeathed unto us by the vainglory of Allag. Know, however, that the 2 icons which remain are thought equal in might to Sephiroth, and may yet exceed him. Ere thou proceed, I would counsel thee to marshal thy strength, and give careful thought to thy preparation. Assuming the Garleans afford us the luxury of time, even now they grasp for the means to dominate primals, blind to the technology's potential for calamity. My master taught me that the entity known as Sephiroth was the world's first sacred tree, elevated to godhood by the belief of its worshippers. There is no power more fearsome than that born of unconditional faith and unbending ideal. 'Tis plain your master found in you a willing student. Tell me, was it he who taught you of Allagan technology's potential for calamity, or are those your own words? 'Twas but a figure of speech, nothing more. When last we met, I thought I caught a glimpse of the boy behind the mask, but it would seem your defenses are firmly back in place. Must you persist with this infuriating veil of secrecy? I, for one, would very much like to know who this master of yours is, among other things. As long as our purposes align, what matter my affiliation? It matters a great deal. I do not ask out of idle curiosity. If we are to fight as comrades, we need to be able to trust each other. On which note, I should apologize for my earlier trickery. It was merely an attempt to get to the heart of an enigmatic companion. Truth be told, I was rather glad you reacted as you did. No person of your age has any business being calm and aloof all of the time, much as you might wish to be. Anyway, we had best be off. Do send word if there are any further developments. A companion now, am I? Seems like you're craving belonging, Unukalai. Perhaps afraid to have it? Is there a new chapter? There is. The Warrior of Light has toppled the first of the Warring Triad. We knew little of Sephiroth other than he was the chief deity of a tribe of tree-like beings, a sacred tree ascended to godhood. Allagan histories discovered upon the event of his destruction, however, have brought fascinating new facts to light. These recordings attribute to Sephiroth the ability to induce spontaneous growth in living organisms through the manipulation of ambient etheric energy. It is noted that the icon did not hesitate to direct this ability upon himself. Sephiroth grew to gigantic proportions during his conflict with the armies of Allag, using his own colossal limbs to cut great swaths of destruction through their ranks. He was eventually overwhelmed, however, and his abilities contained. The Allagans performed experiments upon the captured icon, siphoning his growth-inducing energies into the cultivation of numerous chimerical monstrosities, one unnatural existence propagating countless others. When one believes one's control unbreakable, however, a single overlooked flaw inevitably leads to catastrophe. I know of at least one civilization that collapsed under the weight of such hubris. Interesting. I'm assuming he refers to the Allagans themselves. Alright, looks like we have 2 quests. What can we small talk about? What would you ask of me? Oh, nothing new. Alright, looks like these 2 quests come in a pair. A fiendish likeness. Oh, wait. Is this anything? I wonder if this just unlocks extreme mode. I have something for you, Warrior of Light. During our expedition to banish Sephiroth, I came across a certain relic, and I believe it would be best put to use in your hands. It is an elegant device of the kind used to store information. In this case, the record of the furious conflict that took place on the shores of Mericidia between the Icon Sephiroth and the forces of Allag. Should you present this tombstone to the verification node outside Triad control, the node systems will analyze the various aspects of the conflict and create for you a false icon against which you can train. Consider it a sort of mock battle that presumes a Sephiroth who has broken free of his shackles. If I understand its workings correctly, the node should also be capable of manifesting a far stronger incarnation of the icon. This would mimic the catastrophic consequences were Sephiroth ever to absorb an additional source of energy, say, by defeating another member of the Warring Triad. A compelling challenge for a warrior of your ability, yes? You need not possess Mistress Kryle's knowledge of Allagan technology to begin this particular battle. Simply present the tombstone to the node on the flagship, and then follow the orb's instructions. I hope the experience brings you valuable insight, Warrior of Light. We are going to take this quest just in case it's necessary to unlock further things, but we're not going to do the extreme trial, rather. The Fate of Stars. I am troubled, Warrior of Light. The 6th Legion will not soon surrender its pursuit of Allagan technology. While it is true that the 6th suffered heavy losses in attempting to breach Azizlah's defenses, the Legion is still very much a force to be reckoned with. Left to its own devices, it will not be long before the Legatus moves to... Pray excuse the interruption, but a call to this link pearl can only come from one of your fellow scions. Archon Y'shtola, what news? And you're quite certain they've broken through? Yes, of course. We shall leave immediately. It would seem the thing I feared most has come to pass. The Garleans have succeeded in dispelling the barrier Urianger placed upon the entrance to the research facility. We must intercept and destroy them before they acquire the means to control primal entities. Archon Y'shtola requests that we assemble at the scene of the intrusion. Pray depart at once. I will join you when I've informed the other scions of this development. Indeed. Let's get going. Back to the Etherochemical Research Facility. Here we are. I see we're the first to arrive. No matter, your colleagues should be here anon. They were wise indeed to keep this area under surveillance. Had the Garleans slipped by unnoticed, I dare not think of the consequences. Archon Y'shtola set forth for Azizlah when it became apparent that the Legatus was attempting to breach the barrier, and arrived to find that he had succeeded. We must hope that he has yet to find his prize. Well met, Unukalai, and thank you for answering my summons so swiftly, Foxy. We shall all be glad of your presence should we meet with the 6th Legion, as seems all but certain. As you may be aware, this facility houses some of Allag's most advanced technology. Accordingly, Urianger sought to deny the Empire easy ingress by weaving a ward of singular potency. Not singular enough, it would seem. I would be surprised if the Legatus had not reached the core laboratories already. 'Tis passing strange. I wove the ward in accordance with the most closely guarded teachings of the Archmages of Sharlayan. Naught was left to chance. Naught. 'Tis well known that the children of Garlemald have no talent for arcane manipulation. Nor hath the Empire more than a cursory knowledge of sorcery. That they should succeed in unraveling so complex a scheme of magecraft, and with such surpassing swiftness, tis passing strange. That it is, Urianger, but 'tis a mystery for another day. Archon Y'shtola has the right of it. Before all else, we must move to safeguard the knowledge which enabled the Allagans to harness primal energies. A particular concern is the Genesis expression, an etherochemical formula that allowed the scholars of yore to create substance from nothingness. I know of no such formula. Whence came you by this information? From your enigmatic master, perchance? He did furnish me with that morsel, yes, and knowing exactly which prize the Legatus now seeks enables us to predict his position. Do you not see? We have been gifted the perfect opportunity to remove the head of an entire legion. I didn't think you quite so bloodthirsty, Unukalhai. Surely safeguarding secrets should take precedence over slaying Legatuses. Kryle's sentiments reflect my own. Yet the two objectives need not be mutually exclusive. What say you, Urianger? Urianger? Forgive me. My thoughts were bound up in idle imaginings. In answer to thy question, milady, I am content to be led by thee in this matter. Right. I've enabled the facility's teleporters. Shall we? You dwell on the matter of the barrier. I do. Verily, 'twas a warding spell of labyrinthine intricacy, the brainchild of the head of the students of Baldessian himself. Even the most learned Archon would require some several moons to disentangle such an enchantment. To do so in mere bells would require some preternatural power akin to the very echo itself. Well, there's no need to dwell on it now. The terminal has been activated. Prepare to teleport into Etherochemical Research Facility. Oh, we have a fight on our hands. Oh boy. The Garleans strike for the heart of the facility, and the Legatus spearheads their charge. We must be swift in our pursuit. Incoming! Clear a path. Cut through them. Cut through them indeed, like butter. With me, friends? Let's go. I do like that there's more of this fighting alongside them. The Legatus himself is here, after them. We just took down that robot. Ah, and here's a robot of their own. I shall contend with this foe. Press onwards, my friends. Alright, Urianger's got this one. There! It's Van Hydrus!
In the name of the Emperor!
Uh-oh. We've no time for this! Oh, some more. What? Ah! Uh-oh. Foxy, Kryle needs you. She's being grabbed by the fondling hand. That's not good. Mistress Cryle. Go. I will stand guard over Mistress Cryle. You must keep the Legatus from his prize. We leave her in your care, then. You'd best keep her safe, Unukalai. Come on, Y'shtola, keep up. Colossus. This one looks a handful. It's nothing. Quickly, inside the barrier. Oh dear. It's gonna self-destruct. Central Laboratory is up ahead. Let's hurry along, shall we? After the Legatus. Uh-oh. And still they come. Press on, Foxy. I will handle this. Okay, if you say so, Cat Mom. I have exposed the bones of their work. Now to extract the marrow. That's not going to happen. Even in the moment of my triumph, you persist in your misguided crusade. So be it. I shall present my prize to the Emperor alongside your head. You may try. I recall our last fight not going to your favor. Yeah, I'm not gonna let your stupid little turrets survive. Let's not be in the way of that. Well, come on then.
Can you withstand this? There is nowhere to run! Can you withstand this?
I'm waiting on you.
This?
Down he goes. My weapons inhibitors exist for a reason, but I will not lose to you again! Oh. Cerulean Servant. Is this some kind of weird summoning ability? I honestly don't remember this. Too bad for you, it's dead.
Enough!
Magitech enhances my blade work tenfold. You cannot hope to win. Well, I'm standing and you're not. That counts as a win in my eyes. Foxy! The Tomolith is unbreached, then. Triad. My wounds will not slow my blade should you seek to bar my path. And you would slay me, no doubt, but it would be your final act. What madness afflicts you, Eorzean fools? The Emperor but desires a means to shackle the Icons and their destructive appetites. Why do you rail against your own salvation? It is not for man to wield such power. The primal energy your Emperor seeks to contain would be as kindling waiting for a spark. Forget not the White Raven, Legatus. Like thee, he presumed to wield the power of Allag, and invited the calamity in so doing. This star's fate is too important to be decided by any one man, a warmongering savage least of all. Have care, boy. You speak of my Emperor. But dying here in defense of his honor will not further his cause. Well, well, I appear not to be dead. Ow! Trial? I may have cracked a rib, or two, but I'll be fine, honestly. Our foes gave no quarter. Had Unocali stinted in his defense of thee, thou mayest be certain of thy hurts would be far worse. I could do no less. Mistress Kryl is here at my behest, after all. The secrets of Allag are safe for the present, though 'tis doubtful the Legatus will return to Garlemald till the prize he coveteth lie in his grasp. Then we must redouble our efforts to protect this place. Kryl and I will place additional seals upon the Tomolith. Unocali. I appreciated you staying at my side. Thank you. "'Twas not. Oh, please. It was a good deal more than that, and you know it. Now let me help you. When a woman thanks you for saving her life, the customary response is, "You're welcome." You are welcome. Clearly, he's not used to such gratitude. begs the question, where is he from? What has he been through? Being so young. Ah, Oriange, are the new wards already in place? My colleagues yet toil upon their enchantments. I come unto thee in secret, that I might question thee outside their hearing. Question me? Aye, I would speak with the one who undid my subtlest magecraft, he who invited an Imperial Legatus into this facility in hopes of engineering the man's demise at the hands of the Warrior of Light. You accuse me of masterminding this day's events. The plan may have been thy master's, but the deed was thine. Thou didst lure the Legatus of the 6th Legion into a trap from which he was not intended to emerge. 'Tis plain to me now that thy seeming opportunism in proposing his elimination was feigned, and that his death was the object of thy plan from the first. And you have proof of this? Thine own words betrayed thee. Thou didst speak of the Empire's desire to claim the Genesis expression, the existence of which even the learned Mistress Kryl was ignorant. Whence then did the Legatus come by such definitive knowledge? And then there is the matter of mine unraveled ward. None save one, possessed of another worldly gift, could have so swiftly effected its dissolution. Know thee of another blessed with such? Assuming these accusations have merit, what then? Full many times and oft doth the pursuit of truth lead men down darkened paths. I take no issue with thy purpose, but 'tis but thy method I would call into question. In the Garlean Empire we have a common foe. Hadst thou deigned to share thine intentions with Foxy or Mistress Kryl, 'tis like that we would have closed the trap with less risk to life, and more success. I sought to use the most dangerous secrets of Allag as bait. Who among you would agree to such a reckless plan? None, and with good cause. Irrespective, thou wert remiss in thy duty to thy comrades. I note with some disappointment that in matters concerning the primals, and those who would control them, the cold rationality upon which thou so pridest thyself is conspicuous by its absence. Funny for Urianger to talk about not speaking with his comrades when he himself has some rather interesting secrets that we, the players, have been privy to. Know that the salvation of this star is an end too vast for any one of us to accomplish alone. Shouldst thou fail to trust in thy comrades, I foresee thy actions precipitating some terrible misfortune. Indeed. My sincerest apologies, Foxy. Urianger is correct in his suspicions. It was I who orchestrated this encounter with the Empire. I would ask that thou forgive Unukalai this transgression, and keep mention of it from Mistress Kryl. 'Twould be a pity for one foolish decision to wither their budding camaraderie ere it had a chance to bloom. That's a good idea. Better that they don't know. There you are, you rotten idler. When Y'shtola realized we were struggling with the wards alone, she was absolutely livid. Ah, never mind the warring Triad. I have awakened Archon Y'shtola's tempestuous wrath. In supplicant mood shall I return at once, and there atone for mine indolence. Come, Foxy, it is time we return to the Rising Stones. Really, do we have to? It's such a long flight back out here to come to the third one. Damn it. Also, I'm going to turn this stupid thing in so it's not staring me in the face. Activating verification systems. Combat simulation request acknowledged. Awaiting tombstone data. Here, take it. I don't give a fuck. Data processed. Adversary. Warring Triad. Sephiroth. Defining simulation parameters. Warning, threat level extreme. The Empire assumes no responsibility for death or injury resulting from participation in combat simulations. Activating reality augmentation. Initiating combat simulation. The Empire thanks you for volunteering to participate in this study. Post-mortem data will be used to improve the survival rates of subsequent participants. Your sacrifice is appreciated. Man, fuck you. Yeah, we're not doing that, but I'm glad it's out of my quest log thing. Now we go back to the Rising Stones. We are back. Once again, I must apologize for acting without your consent or counsel. As a gesture of repentance and a sign of good faith, allow me to share something of myself with you. As Urianger suggested, I possess the gift of the Echo, though it is of a nature different from yours. Regardless, I would use my gift for the selfsame purpose, the salvation of this star, and nothing poses a greater threat to the world than the proliferation of primal harnessing technology. This I know only too well. What I'm about to divulge concerns the fate of another star entirely. On this other world, a magic was devised that allowed the realm's champions to use a stone known as OUEST to contain the power of primals. So armed, these heroic souls conquered god after god, oblivious to their weapons' fatal imperfection, its propensity to bleed primal energies. And with each victory, the heroes changed, transforming at last into fiends of endless appetite. Insatiable in their hunger for ether, they ultimately went to war over the star's ever-dwindling life force, and fought until there was nothing left. Thus, as Urianger so astutely observed, when I am faced with those who rush to embrace power unchecked, I lose all semblance of rationality. Know that my master, too, cares deeply about the fate of this star. I am his servant, his instrument, sent here to ensure that the same tragedy does not consume another world. Interesting. So he is from another world. A persistent foe. The Garlean Empire's 6th Legion has breached the core laboratories of Aziaslah's research facility. Seeking to prevent the Imperials from extracting the Genesis expression, the Warrior of Light and her allies pursued the Legatus and his soldiers and succeeded in denying him his vital formula. The Garleans claim their interest in primal harnessing technology comes from a desire to constrain the entity's wanton destruction. But while this purpose seems perfectly noble, such control would place the power of gods in the hands of a select group of men. Who then might oppose the Emperor should he wish to sunder the world? And what guarantee prevents error and happenstance from setting the primals free? Ever would the threat of their accidental awakening loom above our heads. By harnessing a primal, one is also condensing and concentrating its vast energies. Upon the being's release, its long-suppressed power and simmering rancor explodes with unimaginable violence. With their potency increased far beyond that of the typical beastman summoned deity, the defeat of harnessed entities becomes exponentially more arduous. Such might can only be overcome with more might. But ultimately the battle has no victor. When powers of this magnitude collide, they consume immense reservoirs of ether. The star will be drained of life before the clash can be decided, and all will crumble into oblivion. Indeed. Warrior of Light, if this world is to survive, we must needs move forward with our plan. Another pillar of the warring Triad must be toppled. The question of which has already been answered. Following our encounter with the Legatus, Archon Yashola detected erratic etheric waveforms emanating from the sector containing the icon Sophia, known simply as the Goddess in former times. Such readings can only mean one thing. She is close to waking. Let us return to Aziaslah forthwith and put an end to this primal deity, lest she rise again in all her terrible glory. That is a good idea, though I really hate that we have to keep running out here over and over again. Ah, finally. We appear to be the first to arrive. Again. Should we await our colleagues here? Sure. Uh-oh. Could the 6th Legion have returned? Foxy, Unukalai. We're under attack. Ishtoli and Urianji have engaged the foe not far from here. Well, we've got another fight on our hands. What the hell is this? Ha! Rarely is my shield thus tested. 'Twould seem the Allegans have not been lax in their recruitment. Think you so? Mayhap your arm merely withered whilst you lay idle. Still your tongues. We have stalled them long enough. With scales in hand, the goddess shall arise, and righteously cast off her cursed pall, that she, with wrathful Worm King at her side, might judge and thence bring balance unto all. Hear my words in despair, Allegans. Our goddess is awoken. Your civilization has birthed the instruments of its own undoing. "'Tis well that you are here, Foxy. I should like to know what our assailants were saying. You understood their words, did you not?" "'Twas a Mericidian dialect, if mine ears do not deceive, though one which beareth scant resemblance to any spoken in recent times. As for our antagonist's meaning, I do gladly defer to those blessed with the echo." "The one with the shield seemed to think we were Allegans. He recited what sounded like a verse of prophecy, then claimed their goddess is awoken. Is that about right, Foxy?" "And might we assume that this deity of theirs is the very icon we've come to topple?" "Aye. From their tongue, their words, and their attire, 'tis like that our antagonists were Mericidian, thralls to the goddess Sophia, and victims of the Allegans' incursions. If, as Kryl claimeth, they thought of us as agents of Allag, 'tis little wonder that they sought to bring us low." "You suggest that Sophia's servants have been liberated from their containment? Then we have no choice but to accept word of her awakening as truth." "Gods help us. The warring Triad have proven formidable enough when we roused them from with a fraction of their true strength. Should Sophia break free at the peak of her powers, Foxy and her friends won't stand a chance." "Let us be about it, then. Foxy, Kryl, Unukalai, the three of you will make directly for Sophia's containment facility. Urianji and I will do what we can to occupy the Icon's thralls." Well, that's not good. Mistress Kryl, do you perchance recall the words of the prophecy in its entirety? Let me see. I believe it was, "With scales in hand, the goddess shall arise, and righteously cast off her cursed pall, that she, with wrathful Worm King at her side, might judge and thence bring balance unto all." Worm King? Bahamut? Containment Bay, P1, T6. We go now to face Sophia.
I leave the goddess in your capable hands. Just watch out for her worshippers.
Well, damn. She's pretty. Well, damn. That's spoopy. Alright. Let's do this.
The unenlightened come.
And I have been given the role of main tank. Which is fine by me, honestly. Okay. Get inside, or all the way out. One or the other. Quasar.
Know you the full weight of death.
Alright, wow. Somebody just fucking died. Watch out for that thing. Also, this music is fucking good. Cloudy heavens. Alright, the second Demiurge is going to cast a gaze attack that you do not want to look at. And there will of course be AoEs all over. Don't stand in the cold stuff either. Please don't stand in the cold stuff.
Come forth, scales of revelation.
Alright, while she's doing this, you do not want to be standing in the middle, because she's going to start tipping the arena.
I would know the weight of your souls.
And those guys stood in the cold stuff. Alright. Now the edges of the room are gone.
Equilibrium. I shall tip back the balance.
When you see tethers on her, it means she's going to tip the scales that way. Oh god, everyone is dead. Alright, round 2. It's okay, this one has some surprise mechanics that if you're not ready for them, they can definitely get on top of you.
Can you bring equilibrium? I shall tip back the balance.
Oh god, I stood in the cold. Where can I safely tank her?
Sin must be balanced with suffering.
Alright, well thankfully, the cold patch is gone.
Daughter, be the bearer of my wisdom.
Yeah, be careful of that thing. It fires its laser. It's also safe to just stay in the middle when she's gonna tip the platform, because you don't get pushed so far. then it's gonna push you off. And down goes Sophia. Well, it's sad. She was fucking gorgeous. Scary, but gorgeous. Oh, they're all gone. Oh well. Time to leave. I only got one command despite being, you know, the one who had to explain everything. Whatever. I see the goddess is no more. Well done. Once Krile and Unukalai have rejoined us, we may safely depart. One thing yet puzzles me, however. How did Sophia's servants come to wake from their slumber? I believe we have the answer to that. We discovered the remains of a Garlean soldier in an adjacent sector of the containment facility. 'Tis like that the fool ventured too close to Sophia during the Empire's previous incursion and was enthralled for his troubles. Another reminder, if any were needed, as to the incalculable threat posed by these beings. The goddess would not have even been conscious when she claimed the man's will, and yet his mistake granted her the means to release her servants, and would have resulted in her own liberation had we not been on hand to intervene. I do much wonder that the Icon's pawn was capable of so effectively manipulating the facility's containment systems. How came he by such rarefied knowledge? That too was easily explained. During our investigation, Krile discovered a subtle flaw in one of the mechanisms which held the goddess in check. A flaw which had plainly been added intentionally. Upon examining the facility's records of the period, we were able to piece together the story. It was a time towards the end of the Third Astral Era, when the peoples of Mericidia faced extinction at the hands of the Allagan Empire. Sophia, a being of incomparable cunning, was said to have communicated certain plans to her servants through the medium of a trusted oracle. Following the oracle's instructions, they duly conspired with a rebel faction within Allag who, we believe, agreed to tamper with the prison intended for Sophia. And then the goddess and her thralls chanced to be captured, though we suspect that this had always been their plan. Indeed, the prison was situated at the heart of Allag, and we think that they intended to attack the city from within. They would merely have had to wait for the rebels to exploit the weakness in their confines. But the conspirators' dealings with the Mericidians were exposed before they could enact their plot, and all were summarily executed. It seemed that the flaw itself remained undiscovered, however, and might have remained so until the end of days, had it not been for the actions of the Archbishop, and subsequently the Garleans. I cannot help but wonder what might have come to pass had their scheme been successful. Mayhap the answer lies in this prophecy. Krile hath the right of it. Its words may be deciphered thus. The cursed Paul speaketh of Sophia's prison, from which she was supposed to emerge at the agreed hour. The Worm King, meanwhile, can be none other than the great Bahamut himself, yet a prisoner, whom the goddess did intend to unleash upon Allag to set right the scales of justice. A foolhardy plan. Had it come to fruition, the two of them would surely have raised the realm. Naught would have been spared the devastation, the Mericidians' homeland included. Their home already stood on the brink of oblivion. Mayhap they wished for naught else but to purge the poison of Allag with primal fire. The tale teacheth us that even the greatest of man's creations may yet be brought low by a single act of treachery. The Allagans were fools to place their trust in technological bondage. To shackle such being is but to delay the inevitable. Naught save their total destruction shall free us from their menace. Let us return now to the Rising Stones, and there consider the final step of this most needful task. Do we really need to go back? The threat posed by this facility is far greater than you imagine, Urianger, and one not limited to the Icons themselves. Sophia's remaining servants must be put down. Warning. Deactivating stasis chambers and port systems will result in subject termination. Enter identification code to continue. Identification code accepted. Subjects terminated. It had to be done. Just like all other thralls to primals, death is the only solution. Sad, but true. I would have liked to speak to some Mericidians. Oh well. Back to the Rising Stones it is. Alright, what do we have to say? Izada Miss Warrior of Light, Archon Y'shtola mentioned that there was a matter she wished to discuss. Well met, Foxy. You'll forgive me if I seem curt, but I would settle an account with our young friend. While conducting a final sweep of Sophia's containment facility, we discovered that all her remaining thralls had perished in their stasis chambers. This was your doing? Aye, it was. I chose to act upon the knowledge revealed within the tombstone we recovered. The true purpose of these prisons is far more horrifying than we first assumed. The Allegans were not simply observing the Icons and siphoning away their energies. They were conducting experiments in preparation for a far more ambitious project. If you'll recall, both the Fiend and the Goddess were imprisoned within massive spherical structures. These spheres were the prototypes which paved the way for the successful construction of an artificial celestial body. You speak of Dalamud. Aye, the Icon's cages are unmistakably of the same design as the Red Moon. To be plain, the research facility contains the seeds of 3 calamities which might feasibly be visited upon a chosen target. Eliminating one of them necessitated the destruction of the Goddess's slumbering thralls, a distasteful task unbefitting one such as the Warrior of Light. Thus did I resolve to perform the deed myself. You have made your case, and 'tis apparent that we were not in full possession of the facts. Nevertheless, your notion of what may or may not be expected of Foxy is presumptuous in the extreme. When the Warrior of Light chose to join the Scions, she did so in the knowledge that she would be required to face and destroy not only the Primals, but also their fanatical servants. That which you term a distasteful task is an essential part of our calling, a burden which every Scion is sworn to shoulder. He was just trying to preserve my decency. Don't need to be so harsh. I see. 'Twould seem I misjudged the depth of your resolve. No matter. Assuming I have made myself understood, we need not speak of it again. There is, however, one other subject which merits discussion. You determined that Sophia's thralls were awoken by a Garlean soldier who had somehow gained access to the containment area, did you not? If that is the case, it seems highly doubtful that the interloper wandered into such a dangerous part of the facility by chance. Dissidents within the Empire claim that the 6th Legion is rife with agents under orders to thwart the Legatus' mission by any means necessary. Lest you imagine that we have allies in Garlemald, I should clarify that their motive is wholly uncharitable. Regular Van Hydrus rose to the top of the Garlean military on merit alone, and is fiercely loyal to the Emperor for recognizing his efforts. His compeers, by contrast, rose through the favor of the established order, and would accordingly do anything to see him fail. That they would be so reckless. You truly believe that the actions of these agents contributed to the recent crisis? Aye, and that they pose no less a risk to the realm than those loyal to the Emperor. Plainly, we must needs continue to do all in our power to prevent the technologies of Allag from falling into the hands of man. On that point, at least, we have ever been in complete agreement. Dissidents in Garlemald. An interesting idea. If only they were more agreeable. Okay, so we have 2 quests once again. This one here is just for another extreme trial. We're not going to do that, so we're going to do the last pillar to fall. Greetings, Warrior of Light. But one pillar of the Warring Triad remains, Zervan, the icon known as the Demon. According to the histories I have uncovered, this monstrous being was worshipped by a race of Mericidian beastmen. These creatures are the key to maintaining Zervan's manifestation, and we can be sure that many such thralls will be imprisoned somewhere within the research facility. It is imperative that we determine their exact location as swiftly as possible. We dare not risk repeating the near disaster we suffered at the hands of Sophia's servants. As such, your fellow scions have already begun an exhaustive search, but there are several sectors to which only you, Kryl, and I can enter without fear of enthrallment. Let us make our way to Azizla forthwith and aid the investigation. Indeed. First we're going to read this, though. The goddess has fallen, and only one pillar of the Warring Triad remains. According to the records we discovered upon Sophia's destruction, the Icon had once schemed to bring the Allagan Empire to ruin from within. The histories also spoke of her followers and how they perceived the ever-expanding Imperials as anathema to the world's balance. Equilibrium is Sophia's domain. Her worshippers saw the righting of the scales as their sacred duty, and thus did they resist the Allagan's invasion with holy fervor. Never mind that the summoning of an icon did upset their precious balance all the more. The concept of balance is, however, of great interest to my master. A world must have both light and darkness, and a sudden change of either will endanger its very existence. Upon our first meeting, my master spoke thus: I am not the light's servant, but for the present I must serve. One cannot arbitrate equilibrium if one is not fluid of stance. The tenets of our justice are found not in light nor darkness, nor the gray shades in between. We seek but to enforce that which prevents the visitation of oblivion, to moderate the endless waves of war such that neither side claims victory. That is our charge. Interesting. We still don't know who his master is. Hopefully, once we're through with all this, we'll find out. Ah, for once, Kalai's not here to meet us. Foxy, it's good we caught you. The facility has been swarmed by Imperial troops. By their standards did we judge them soldiers of the 6th. Aye, once more doth regular Van Hydra stretch forth his hand to seize the forbidden fruits of Allag. And once more have our meticulous wards been swept aside like so many cobwebs. Your meddlesome wards were destroyed from within by the pulsating energies of an icon. Regula himself comes to greet us. Nay, put up your weapons and listen. The followers of Zervan have awakened, and they toil to rouse their master. The demon's worshippers yet slumbered when we confronted Sophia. Could the tampering of her thralls have been more widespread than we thought? They shared a common enemy. 'Tis not unthinkable that they would seek to free all those the Allagans had imprisoned. Yes, the cage doors are opened. And while you stand here quibbling over who picked the locks, my soldiers are inside the facility risking their lives and their sanity. They have volunteered to face death to prevent Zervan's servants from waking him in the fullness of his power. Now, assuming you have at last understood the gravity of the situation, it is time that I rejoined them. But you cannot hope to succeed. The icon will enslave the minds of any who draw near. Thus did I seek out those with the power to resist his influence. Aid us, and mayhap my men will not perish in vain. You propose an alliance. I have delved into the depths of this place and found its technology wanting. These mechanisms have failed to hold their prisoners, and such broken artifacts are unfit to bring before the Emperor. Twice have you bested me in combat. Will you now lend me that strength and stand against our mutual foe? 'Twas in opposing your reckless schemes that Ysel was lost to us. You expect us to simply forgive and forget all that has come before? I expect you to put aside your emotions and use your better judgment, but of course I am dealing with savages. I will not stand here and justify the death of the Ice Maiden. We pursued our ideals and you pursued yours. Such was the result, and mayhap you might consider another point. In these endless clashes we have all lost comrades dear to us. Yet I choose to put aside past grievances to beg your champion's aid, to appeal to your reason. Thou art willing to build a bridge of common purpose against such tremulous foundations, or upon such tremulous foundations. I apologize, I cannot read. I too am hesitant to accept this arrangement, Archon Y'shtola. But the offer has been made to the Warrior of Light, and 'tis her involvement which shall ultimately sway its outcome. I shall abide by Foxy's decision. Well, as much as we hate the Empire, and as much as Regula has wronged us, he is a man of honor. Zervan has to be stopped. Then for better or worse, we shall fight at your side. Mistress Kryl and I are also resistant to primal influences. We shall aid you where we can. Then let us be on our way. That's the thing of Regula. He's not an evil man. We've seen some particularly vile instances of Imperial leadership. He's just a man of duty. He's cold and calculated, but a man of duty. Our companions have already passed through to the research facility. We should not lag behind. Oh dear. The demon stirs. Like a suckling babe, he feedeth upon the ether siphoned unto him by his thralls. We must needs deprive him of this sustenance. Then we destroy those devices. Man, they're like dragonkin. Hold! Witness your soldiers! They have turned one against the other. Even half awake, Zervan corrupts and converts those who enter his aura. The three of us, then. Foxy, Unukalai, we rush in together and each disable a generator. We cannot give them the chance to rally a defense. There are 4 mechanisms by my count. If I can avoid the Icon's miasma, my blade will make short work of the last one. We, all of us, have pledged our lives to... Keep your lives. I would rather you tend to my fallen. Some may yet survive with their minds intact. I know not if my strength will be enough. I am no champion. The battlefield is no place for uncertainty, boy. Fate has blessed you with a unique talent and an occasion to use it. Do not waste such a gift. We strike! God, Zervin is... Unukalai! He slumbers once more. You saved me. Why? I told you, boy. Yours is a gift too precious to waste. A gift the Emperor may one day have need of in his war upon these untamable icons. Emperor Varys, he raised me up from the ranks, stood against my detractors. I gladly give my life in his service. You must finish this. Slay these leeches upon our star. Kill them all. Kill Zervin. We must needs withdraw and prepare our assault. At the cost of his very life, the legateth hath prized open a window for us of opportunity. I read that really poorly. He was our enemy. He did unspeakably terrible things. But in the end, he saved us for the greater good. Not unlike Ysel, really. These wounded soldiers will live, but further battle is beyond them. I have counseled them to remain here until their compatriots arrive to bear them home. 'Tis not often that I dare approach so closely to entities such as Zervin. How sharply am I reminded of the burden we place upon those whom are blessed with the Echo. I had thought Regula a cold and ruthless man, but he showed surprising compassion for his soldiers. And it also seems he placed great trust in his Emperor. If Regula could be convinced that the technology for containing primals is fatally flawed, then mayhap Varys can be convinced as well. There might be hope for the Empire yet. Forgive me if I show little gratitude for my rescue. It is said that the Emperor and Van Hydrus were childhood friends. Foul fortune that we should be the ones to bring news of his death. The research facility crawls with Zervin's faithful, and they will not cease in their efforts to rouse him. If you would honor the fallen Legatus' sacrifice, then you must slaughter those fiends to the last. I didn't particularly like you, Regula, but I respect you. How are you holding up? He's dead. Had I only been stronger. Enough of that. There'll be time for regrets after we've rid the world of Zervin. Kryle has the right of it. The demon has fallen back into torpor for now, but we must act swiftly if Regula's death is to have meaning. The survivors speak of an army of thralls loose in the facility, and we must assume that these followers continue their efforts to awaken the Icon. Let us then concentrate upon diverting them from their task. Mistress Kryl and Master Unakalai, prithee secure the controls to Zervan's shackles and limit the restoration of his might. Archon Y'shtola and I shall forge ahead, and strike down those thralls as would seek to harry you. Warrior of Light, thine is, as ever, the most perilous duty. Gather to thee thy trusted companions, and extinguish from this realm the fires of the demon himself. Containment Bay Z1-T9. The Legatus spoke truly. The thick of battle is no place to question oneself, and I will accept any forthcoming duty with certitude, or not at all. The last pillar of the Warring Triad is set to fall. Let's see this to the end, Foxy. We owe it to him, at the very least.
There's been enough sacrifice for one day. We must take the chance we've been given and defeat Zervan now.
Dragula put his trust in us. We have to see this through. Let's end this thing. And right yet another wrong of the Allagan Empire. Do not be on those platforms when they fall, by the way. I don't think I need to tell you what will happen if you are. Oh, I took a hit there. That's okay, though. Also, Zervan is now freeing himself from his prison. And he is now completely free. And he looks awesome.
My doubt is fled.
Also, holy fuck, this music. Stack up. Okay.
I shall rise above all.
Next phase.
Bear witness to my will.
We have ads. so they don't feel like moving, apparently. That was a big owie. Here it comes.
Bow to my infallible judgment.
That was a pretty cool transition.
Suffer in endless torment.
I know my commentary is wonderful right now, but this fight is awesome. And this music is very Kingdom Hearts. Oh, it's a good thing I used, what do you call that? My invulnerability. Even though I wasn't invulnerable, I still took damage. Oh, somebody limit break, please. Fire, so I have to stand under fire. Yeah, he debuffs you. Infinite fire or infinite ice. If you get infinite fire, you stand on fire. If you get infinite ice, you stand on ice. Why do I have 2 Vaughn stacks? Cover him. I just saved the tank.
My equivocation cost me this contest.
Well, the main tank anyway. Oh god, the healers are both dead.
Suffer in endless torment.
Oh, it's too bad the red mage can't res. I can't believe you lost. God damn it.
My equivocation cost me this contest and such is my life.
Even when I Shelltroned, I got my ass handed to me during that attack. But Zerfin is dead. And yes, I skipped right to the end because that's where we were before. So... And that's that. Let's give our commendation to our lovely healer. And let's go. Hey, 2 commends. Incredible as always, Foxy. Hopefully that will be the last our world sees of the likes of Zervan. Every one of his thralls has been slain as far as we can determine. Our victory over the warring Triad is complete. An impossible feat, had we not been blessed with your cooperation. Let us not forget the efforts of Regula Van Hydrus and his men. Without their noble sacrifice, the demon would have awoken far sooner and possessed of far more formidable energies. The bodies of the fallen now accompany the survivors on the return journey to Garlemald. 'Tis known that the Imperials recognize no god, yet they would honor the dead in their own fashion. And when next we meet, our fleeting alliance will surely be forgotten. 'Twas an interesting exchange, nonetheless. They spoke of their present ruler as a man who values self-sufficiency. Varys befriended Regula in their youth, it seems, and was highly impressed by his martial prowess. 'Tis common knowledge that Regula's rise to Legatus was in great part advocated by the Emperor himself. Regula freely admitted his shortcomings when it came to politics, and it was Varys' unconditional support that served to win his undying fealty. One does not expect such tales of comradeship to lurk beneath the Empire's iron exterior. They're just people, like us. Contrary to all expectations, the man died a hero. Witnessing the way you all leapt into danger without hesitation, it would seem I'm surrounded by heroes. And yet, my own actions were aught but heroic. I have not the qualities nor the character to stand at the Warrior of Light's side. What a curious thing to say. Are you truly concerned that you do not measure up to some arbitrary requirement? If you knew of the path I walked to reach this place, then you would understand why I doubt myself so. Return with me to the Rising Stones, and I shall tell you of it. Are we finally gonna learn? What exactly kind of a world did you come from? Let's find out. No one else is here yet. With your victory over Zervan, the warring Triad is finally defeated. I'm afraid, however, that mine own efforts have been more than a hindrance than help, and you and your fellow Scions deserve to hear the reasons behind my actions. I wouldn't say you were a hindrance. You helped in your own way. I promise to tell you of my journey, of who I am, of where I'm from. The truth is, I am not of this world. I was born of a different star, a child whose power of the echo was too feeble to save his dying world. A child who, unlike you, never became a warrior of light. When all I knew stood on the brink of destruction, I was yet half grown. Had I been born but a handful of years earlier, history may have written a different tale. The seeds of other heroes that had yet to fully sprout may not have withered and perished. The star I failed to save is known to you now as the Void. Though Foxy knew not that I spoke of my homeland, I have explained to her before the cause of its ruin. A magic was devised to contain a defeated primal's might within a stone known as Orosite, and the energies which bled from this imperfect vessel gradually corrupted the champions who wielded it. These heroes became slaves to an insatiable hunger for ether, eventually transforming into hideous fiends, and none who clung to the faint traces of light were strong enough to oppose them. The demons next turned upon each other in a war which drained the land's ether in ever greater amounts, until one day the star was suddenly swallowed in a flood of darkness. An entire world, unmade in an instant. The voids sent you encounter here in this realm are the twisted remnants of once mortal beings who gnaw on what motes of life force remain. And as I lay dying, beaten and broken in my failed last stand, 'twas my present master who found my tormented spirit and bore me away to the rift betwixt worlds. 'Twas he who first introduced me to Urianger. At my mentor's feet did I learn of the nature of reality, of the existence of mirrored worlds and the eternal struggle between dark and light. Sudden and overwhelming superiority for either side will shatter the balance, and the world in question will be returned to the void by a calamity beyond imagining. As the self-appointed custodian of this balance, my master warned me that the source, the first of all worlds, slips perilously close to oblivion. In what spirit did this master proffer such a warning? A benevolent gesture or a veiled threat? To these questions and more do I mean to coax forth answers. Yet no matter his intention, that Heidelin doth teeter on a knife's edge is an undeniable truth. Knowing this, what choice was given you to make? I chose to join my master, and act as his instrument on this star. The tragedy that befell my home cannot be repeated. I will see this world saved. And yet I hesitated at the most crucial of moments. What right have I to stand alongside a true warrior of light? In thine own words, thou wert called before thy time, and I offer that thou dwellest overmuch on the question of what maketh the hero. The search for the answer leaveth thee paralyzed by doubt. Heed me, Master Unukalai. Thou needest not believe thyself a hero to perform great deeds. 'Tis the deed itself which earneth thee the hero's mantle. Aye, the ideals you hold can be less important than having the faith to act upon them. Regula's loyalty to the Emperor guided his actions until the last, and though we did not see eye to eye on many things, his final deeds can be called not less than heroic. Personally, I find that faith in my companions allows me to act unhindered by uncertainty. I know that should I ever falter, Foxy and the others will be there to support me, or steer me back onto the right path if needed. I see. In the days leading up to my world's destruction, I was entirely alone. I never knew what it was like to have such comrades. I cannot imagine the loneliness you must have felt. But look around you now, Unukalai. You're not alone anymore. Welcome to the Scions of the Seventh Dawn. I will fulfill my promise to save this world, and when I stumble, I shall be glad to have your hands there to steady me. My apologies. This is difficult for me. For so long have I spoken from behind a mask. We should all feel comfortable speaking without such concealments. I should hope you appreciate the irony of that statement, Urianger. Really, he's always wearing those goggles. Funny, though. For all his transparency, he never did speak his master's name. Only we, the player, know the true identity. These two are just for extreme raids. Let's see if there's anything new. No? Well then, to cap this episode off, we'll go ahead and read the final entry to the Warring Triad. The followers of Zervan were broken from their slumber, likely the doing of Sophia's worshippers, and immediately began attempting to rouse their master in the fullness of his power. We found ourselves in an unexpected alliance with the forces of the 6th Legion, and rushed inside the research facility to put a stop to the Thrall's ambitions. Although we succeeded in this initial endeavor, the effort cost the lives of many Imperial soldiers, including that of Regula Van Hydrus himself. Seizing the opportunity their sacrifice brought for us, the Warrior of Light led a company of Echo-blessed champions against the half-woken demon, and cast down the final pillar of the Warring Triad. Upon discovering the flaws apparent in the Allagan's technology, the Legatus chose to abandon its acquisition, and looked to recruit the aids of the Scions with nary a moment's hesitation. His was a decision motivated not by glory, but by loyalty to his Emperor. Above all, he strove to enforce the will of his childhood friend, and ensure that the primal threat hanging over this star would be eradicated. Over the course of our quest to eliminate the Warring Triad, the meddling of the Garlean Empire has been our greatest obstacle. That an officer so lofty within its ranks should recognize the danger and make such a rational choice is a significant development in our war against the primals. Ere the star upon which I was born become the void, the champions who lived upon it chose to embrace self-destruction rather than cease their infernal conflict. They became lost within their own ambitions, strangling the life from one another even as the flood of darkness swallowed them whole. Here on Hydaelyn, the power of light is not so feeble. This world will survive while the balance holds, but we must also take care that the scales do not swing too far in light's favor. As we fight on the side of light, we must trust that our companions will steer us away from the lure of extremity, and help guide us along the narrow path to salvation. It is the actions of men such as Regula Van Hydrus that gave me hope that the future of this star is not beyond redemption. Take what that said about straying too far in one direction, and keep it in your back pocket. I promise it'll be important later. And with that, the Warring Triad is no more. Yet another of Allag's machinations is destroyed. How many more? How many more of ancient Allag's mistakes will we have to correct before their threat is fully expunged from our world and potentially all worlds? Who knows how far the repercussions of their mistakes will spread? And who knows if we'll see more of our buddy Unukalai in the future. With his strange name, and his mysterious allegiance to the ever-elusive Elidibus. But that's a question for another time. I'll see you in the next episode, everyone. My name is Foxy Games. Take care until then. Bye.